Hi everybody, welcome to Cox Talks by Sheffler, a channel intended to help new coxswains. So today's really quick video in my car is going to be about 2Ks. So if you are coming into your first 2K race, that's what I'm going to try to talk about. So usually in the fall we have more head race style races are going to be longer. They might be about 5K. And they are more marathon, and so you cox a little bit differently. But going into the spring season, we call it sprint season because we're going to have 2Ks, 2,000 meter races. So if you are going into your first race, a couple things to kind of prepare you and give you an idea of what you're going to do. After you launch, you guys are going to go into your warm-up area where you want to do the warm-up that you guys have decided already with your coach and with your team. And that might be pick drill, it might be pausing, whatever it is. And then you're probably going to want to take some power strokes, usually about 60 to 80 power strokes, but before the race. Depending on the venue and also things that you cannot control, like if the races get backed up for some reason, you might not have the room to execute your warm-up exactly the way that you wanted to. For instance, if you were going to do power 10s or starts, you may realize that you do not have room to do those. I one time did have a race where the entire warm-up area had been backed up because of race delays, so you could only move basically a couple strokes at a time and then you would have to stop. So we weren't able to do our exact race plan, and you just have to be flexible. So that's part of the coxswain's role, is just to be decisive and kind of figure out the best course of action. Are you going to try to take a power 5, or are you going to focus on, whatever it is? Are you going to just try to do some starts, or are you going to skip the starts? Try to just come up with your best course of action and just do your best, and it's totally okay, and that's normal. Things are going to change. Then you want to get to your start. You want to try to get there early. Usually the rule is that you need to be in your stake boat 2 minutes before the start of your race, which means that you need to be at the start 5 minutes before the race, and that's probably like approaching into the lanes. So about 10 minutes before your race is when you want to physically be waiting to be called. Couple terms there. Stake boats. Some earlier races might have what they call a floating start, which is you just go in, you line up next to each other, and the officials will just get you kind of close and then say, go, or attention go, or pull the cruise, whatever it is. But more official races are going to have stake boats. Stake boats just mean that, just like a buoy, they are going to stay in place, and they are a little boat that a person will hold you into place. That way they can make sure that all of the bow balls start evenly. Stake boats are a little bit tricky to navigate. There's two kinds of ways that you're going to approach your stake boats. One is behind. Sometimes there's a stake boat, a big gap, a stake boat, and there's one in each lane. And you kind of approach from behind and you go through 2 stake boats and then you lock onto yours. If you're doing it that way, then you want to kind of come in, enter on whichever side of the stake boat that the wind is coming from. For instance, if the wind is coming from, left to right, then you're going to want to come in on the left side of your stake boat. That way it blows you towards it rather than away from it. Approach really slowly. Try not to get too far ahead of it, because then you'll have to back it down into the stake boat, and you're probably going to have to do a little bit of that anyway. You don't want to get too far away because the wind can carry you. I'll go over backing on this next one, which is if you the other way to approach stake boats, sometimes you don't come from behind them, you actually come from in front of them, in which case all the stake boats are in a line. Your warm-up area is such that you cut straight in front of the stake boats. So what you're going to do is they're going to call you in order from the far side to the near side, whatever that is, and you will approach come into your lane, kind of turn, and then back it into your stake boat. If you're turning, pay attention to the wind again, but for me, a good rule of thumb is that you're approaching it by half boat, and then you weigh enough and you'll hold water when you're about halfway across the buoy line. So that's if there's no wind. If there's no wind, then you will hold water, and that will kind of turn you. So right when you are turning, you are basically dead center in your lane, and then you're going to back it up, and that's going to be with stern pair, maybe stern 4 if you're further away. And backing is where they start at the finish and push their blades forward, or their hands forward, so that way their blades will literally be moving backwards, and the stern will move closer to the stake boat so that the stake boat holder can grab it. You don't want to come in too fast, and coxswains are going to be looking behind them. It, for me, always was a little bit tricky because you're used to thinking of port and starboard when you're looking forward, and when you face backwards, you have to remember that the port and starboard direction is opposite of the way that you're now facing, and then you still do the same thing. Like if you want your stern to move to the right, what's going to do that is now, instead of looking at it from a forward way, you can kind of turn back around and say, okay, I need my starboard to power up a little bit, and that'll get me my stern closer to the stake boat. You can also, if you're in a 4, trust and communicate to your stern pair that you're having trouble seeing it, and that they're going to need to power up and aim it as you back in. After you're locked on, the stake boat holder is going to grab it, then you can go ahead and get your point. You want to get pointed down the course, probably a straight course. There are some races that aren't straight, but you will know they're like very specific races. Dadvale is one where it's not straight. Usually a 2K is going to be a straight shot, and there's buoys. So if that's the case, you're going to get your point, and you can do that by sculling your blades. So if you have not done that before, you want to talk to your rowers about it ahead of time. Sculling is not the kind of sculling like this with 2 oars, but basically your bow seat, if you want bow seat to take a stroke to adjust your point, when they take a stroke, it not only moves the point, it also moves the boat forward. And you're locked in place. You can't move forward. You're not supposed to move forward. So you want to get that blade as close to the boat as possible, the oar as parallel to the boat as possible, so that when they take the stroke, it only moves it that way instead of also forward. So the way to get it all the way parallel is the bow seat has to hand their handle all the way forward, and then to the next person in front of them, to 2 seat. 2 seat will take it that way with their outside arm. If they're now holding it with their outside arm, the oar goes out behind them, and it's almost parallel to the boat. And they take these short little tiny strokes, not big strokes, just short, because it keeps it nice and parallel to the boat, and that will turn the boat. So that's if you wanted your bow seats oar to be moved, you say 2 scull bow, that means bow seat hands it up to 2 seat. And if you wanted your 2 seats oar to be the one that's being moved, then you would say 3 scull 2, that means 2 seat passes it to 3 seat. If it's really, really windy, you might throw in another person. You might have 3 seats blade be used by 4 seat, and etc. When you get your point, depends on the wind. You want to get pointed straight down the course. Everybody else should be sitting ready. Even if they don't have their blades squared and buried, they should be up at their position, because you never know when the start's gonna, it might be a quick start and they have to go right away. And you don't want them moving up to affect your point and lose your point. They should be sitting ready. Once you have, that 2 minute, like you're gonna start soon, you can have them squared and buried, just kind of sit ready. You're staying calm with your voice, even if you're not calm because you're nervous. We got this. We want to, portray that we totally have everything under control. And you're just going to have, 2 scull bow or 3 scull 2 until, you have your points. You want to point a little bit into the wind if there's wind, because as soon as you stop sculling, then you're going to drift, right? So when they say, this is your start, They're going to drift, so you want to be pointed just slightly into the wind. Not crazy unless it's super duper windy, but even if it's super duper windy, that would probably mean that they do a quick start instead of pulling the cruise. Pulling the cruise means that if you have somebody in lane 1, San Diego, and then in lane 2 you have a different team name, and then number 3, they're going to go through the names and they're going to say San Diego, Marin, Oakland Strokes, and they're going to name all of the crews. And then when they've gone through all the lanes, they say, attention, row. And then they will have a flag as well as the command, go. And so the rowers should be watching the flag and go when the flag moves. Then from there, it's your race plan. And your job is just to execute your race plan while steering a straight course.